Today we're going to be talking about why wide receivers will drop passes and coaching cues and tips to avoid those bad habits. Now, the first reason that wide receivers will drop the ball is what you guys have all heard before, and that is taking their eye off the ball. But what does that exactly mean? What are some things that you can think about to make sure that you look this ball all the way in? Because so many wide receivers, ball will be coming, they think they're looking it in, but as soon as it makes contact with their hands, they're trying to turn upfield, and that's why they will drop a pass. So there's two things that I will tell my wide receivers to focus on that helps them avoid that bad habit. Number one, you want to pretend that your eyes are a camera and you are taking a photo of the ball. So whether the ball is thrown low, whether it's an over-the-shoulder pass, when it makes contact with your hands, you're trying to take a picture with your eyes of the ball. And that's something that really processes for myself personally, because anytime that ball is thrown, it's like a freeze frame. It's not the football and this tree over here, it is just the football in your line of vision. It's almost like a portrait of somebody when you take that photo. Second thing I tell guys to think about is to focus on the stripe of the ball. So if you're looking for something on the ball, and we're going to talk about other things that you could do similar to this throughout this video, but if you're looking for something on the ball like the white stripe and you focus on the white stripe, it helps you look this in and it helps you track that ball all the way to the catch point. Now, before we get into the second reason that wide receivers will drop passes, we are coming out to 13 more states this offseason, you guys, for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. So check out that very first link in the description below if you guys like some more information, how you could sign up to train with myself and my staff of coaches. We already completed 2 of our 15 camps this year. Our next stop is going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada, Charlotte, North Carolina, Portland, Oregon, Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Chicago, Illinois, Buffalo, New York. Then we'll be heading out to Atlanta, Georgia, Houston, Texas, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Detroit, Michigan, Boise, Idaho, and Los Angeles, California. So if you're local to any one of those cities and would like to train with us, again, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get back to this catching video. Now, the second reason that wide receivers will drop passes, and this usually has to do with like a bullet pass when the quarterback puts a little bit of heat on the ball, is it will bounce off of their palms. So you guys have probably heard the phrase before, like, hey, you want to have soft hands, quote unquote, but what does that exactly mean? So a lot of wide receivers, they have that like they're brick hands almost, right? The ball's thrown, the ball is making this really loud noise when it hits their hands, and that tells you that you're not catching the ball in the webbing of your hand, which is why a lot of guys will drop passes. So when you catch that ball, you don't want to catch this thing in your fingertips, because then that's very likely for you to jam your finger at a certain point, especially if the quarterback's throwing it with some heat. You want to try to stay in the webbing of your hands, aka your fingers. And we're going to give you a great drill to work on this and to strengthen your fingers that does not require a partner, does not require any equipment, just requires a football. But to be able to have those soft hands and to avoid that bounce, try to focus on catching this thing in the webbing portion of your hand. Now, obviously, when it comes to catching the ball in the webbing of your hand, you need to have a strong grip and you need to have strong fingers. So this is going to be a very simple and easy drill that you can do in your room, at your house, whatever, to work on that finger strength and that grip strength. So all you do is you need a football, and you are just going to simply work your hand around the ball, doing tiny catches and trying to focus on not letting the ball make contact with your palm. So you're going to work your hand all the way around. What I recommend doing on this specific drill is trying to get 100 reps in on your right hand. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 100 reps in on your left hand, and do that for 3 sets. It's a very easy and simple drill to work on your finger strength and grip strength. Now, the next reason that wide receivers will drop passes kind of ties into tip number 1, or reason number 1 that we talked about, and that's not tucking the ball away as they are trying to turn upfield. So let's say, for example, I'm running like a slant route, right? I break over the middle, quarterback gives me the ball, it makes contact with my hands, I'm looking it in to start, and then I start to peek upfield, and that's why that ball slips out. Obviously, what we want to do is we want to catch and we want to bring the ball as quickly and as violently as we can to the tuck. But when I bring it to the tuck, I want my eyes to follow this ball. Now, in a real game situation, anytime I talk about tucking the ball, people always come at us and say, oh, well, if you're looking the ball all the way in, you're looking here, your eyes are not going to be upfield, you're going to get hit by a linebacker. And yeah, obviously, but when you're training and when you're doing drill work, you're doing rep work, there's no defense out there, you need to have that muscle memory of looking the ball in. So in an actual game scenario, it could be quick and you could turn upfield. The only way you're going to get quicker and faster at a skill is by repping it out. And sometimes you have to rep it out slow at first to actually improve on it, right? So what I recommend for all wide receivers to improve this is try to look for something and verbally call out something when you tuck the ball away. Let me explain. So let's say I'm here, I'm training with the quarterback throws me a ball, I catch it. You want to call out, verbally call out, and you have to hold yourself accountable to this if you see spaces or if you see laces. And that forces you. You're having to look for something when you tuck the ball away, so your eyes are obviously not going to come off the ball. So ball is thrown to you, you catch this thing, you tuck it away. If I see this portion of the ball, I'm gonna verbally call out spaces. I see this portion of the ball, I verbally call out laces, and that holds yourself accountable and make sure that you look that ball in when you tuck it away. Now, the next reason that wide receivers will drop passes, more specifically over the shoulder passes, is that they will have very early hands. So what do I mean by that? So let's say I got a DB who's lined up inside shade on me, I give him a move, I take this outside release, I got my head down, ball's thrown up in the air. A lot of receivers have been taught is that when that ball's over the shoulder in the air, to raise your hands and go to the ball. You never want to do that if you have a DB who is trailing you on your inside hip. Obviously, if the ball is underthrown, yeah, let's come back, let's go get the ball. But when that ball is thrown over the shoulder, you want your hands to be late. You almost want to catch this ball chest level. Now that requires a great deal of trust with your eyes. You obviously have to see that ball make contact with your hands, but the reason why receivers will drop passes in this case is they show their hands early, and a DB, he's not running looking at the ball playing us, he's just playing us. So when he sees my hands raise up, he knows exactly where to shoot his hands and get a PBU. So we want to try to be as late as possible with my hands. Ball is thrown over the top, I want to trust my eyes, I want to catch this thing chest level so I can put it to the tuck right away, and that DB has no opportunity to play my hands and knock this thing out.